I hope you had a good weekend, everyone. Today's a very special episode for me because this is a very important day. Today, the channel hit 4,000 subscribers. And 5.5 months ago, when I started the channel, on basically a whim, I never thought that that was going to be possible. And I really, truly appreciate everyone that follows this channel, that subscribes, and that supports the channel, the comments that you leave, the community that we've been building over this last 5.5 months has been incredible. And today I do want to just kind of talk about the community a little bit. And I also want to go into the quantum news for this week. But I want to start with the community because I think the community has been just super incredible and fun. I've already made friends and had some really great experiences so far in this journey. And one of the things that I appreciate most about doing this channel and doing this content is that it makes me a more thoughtful investor. And I think about things on a deeper level because I don't want to share bad information with you. I'm not always going to share correct information because no one is right all the time, but I'm going to do my best to share my best knowledge of something at any given point in time. And I really try to give a balanced view of things. I don't try to oversell or undersell something. I try to look at both sides and provide a balanced view so that we all can make informed decisions, because I know you all have worked very hard in your life to make money. And I know that it's very important, and investing is a very personal decision, and where we invest our money and what we invest in is a very personal decision. Now, on the front of quantum, I just want, like, for many of the new followers of the channel, I want to give some background on why I'm doing this. Like, who the hell am I and why am I doing this? I think that's a fair question. I'm doing it because late last year, I invested a lot in quantum companies. And as you all have learned from this point, I invest in a lot of different things. So not just quantum. When the quantum crash happened, when Jensen Huang had said quantum is 15 or 20 years away, and all the stocks took a nosedive, something just felt wrong. Like there was something that didn't seem right about it. We didn't hear much from the quantum companies. In fact, if we go all the way back and we look at the first video I ever posted, it was when Dr. Alan Baratz went on CNBC the next day and said Jensen was dead wrong. The prevailing opinion, the popular opinion, was that Jensen was right and quantum was a joke and it was 15 or 20 years away. And then there was the contrarian opinion. And the contrarian opinion has been to continue investing in quantum, continue to invest in this story, despite the noise, despite what everyone's thoughts and feelings are about the technology, where it is in its infancy or its maturity, and just learn, educate, and inform myself and you all in the process, and just doing my best as far as that goes. So that's when I built the Quantumbull.com, and I was up until 3:30 in the morning building this website, and I just wanted to build a one-stop shop where someone could come and they could learn about quantum computing, the fundamentals. They could dream about the possibilities, like quantum computers being able to solve really hard problems like drug research and the computational and chemistry, biology, cryptography, alternative materials, finance and banking, supply chain and logistics, the quantum internet. And then he also built this learn page where someone could just send a friend or family member. They could say, just go to this website and read the learn page. So you can at least understand on a high level what a quantum computer is, why I should care, what do I need to know, how will this impact me? I saw a huge gap, and this is a really complex topic. So I wanted to make it easier for people to approach this, because this is really the next generation of computing, and it's a very complex topic. And then we started, as we were working on this site, started writing some news pieces and analyst pieces. And I very quickly found that there's no way that just me, one dude, could go and write a bunch of news pieces all the time. And so I started shifting my focus more to analyst pieces. And I still think that we're adding some really nice value with the analyst pieces that we put out once in a while. And then there's the invest page where I rank my favorite quantum stocks. And some of those are large cap stocks. Some of those are small cap and pure plays. And I think that's also fun as well because the landscape of quantum is always changing. So the Quantumbull.com is really the heart of all of this. But the YouTube channel is now grown to 4,000 subscribers in less than half of a year. And I wanted to talk about just the audience. And so you guys know, like, I'm not really like posting reels. I'm not posting TikToks. I don't really push my videos out on other social media. Again, like, it takes some time to make these videos and put some thought into them. So I'm not spending a lot of time doing self-promotion outside of YouTube specifically. So really, we're here. This is where the content is. I did get talked into making a Twitter. So I am over on Twitter at the Quantumbull HQ. I'll put the name on the screen. But I wanted to show you guys. So one of the things is that 500 of you have all notifications on for when I post content. And I take that very seriously because I don't like to be annoyed. I don't like to be spammed. So I do put thought into the content that I make and the titles, and I try to get it right. I'm not always going to get it right. And the content, because I want to be able to make content with freedom, it's not maybe always going to be content that every single person that follows the channel is going to be interested in. But I really appreciate it. That number impresses me and scares me at the same time. It looks like watch time from subscribers. Most of the watch time is from people who are not subscribed, and about a third is from who is subscribed. When I first started this channel, it was 99% male who followed me and 12.8% female. 99% male and 1% female. It does appear that that number has gone up a little bit. And I appreciate the ladies that follow the channel. I try to just have a wider appeal to anyone who's interested in this space. And then as far as the age distribution, I do notice that I'm really just like this 13 to 17, 18 to 24. There's really no followers in that age range, or very few followers in that age range. And the lion's share of the followers are between 35 and 64, which seems to be people who would be more like investor age. I do think that this audience, the future generations, they should be more informed. They should learn more about the stock market and have more financial literacy and understand the pros and cons of investing and how investing can change your life and how the stock market can change lives. And there's an unfortunate lack of financial literacy, especially in the United States. We can see that most of the followers are in the US, with quite a few from Canada and quite a few from the UK. I've never been to the UK, and I don't believe I've ever been to Canada either. But really cool to see kind of the videos reach different corners of the world. And I tend to post a lot of my videos later in the day, so different time zones will see them. And it's just, I just want to say, like, again, thank you so much to all the new followers, all the people that have been with me since January, since I started posting these videos and going and exploring this topic on a deeper level. I think it's really interesting, even as we finish this video and we look at the last week of quantum. I always find it interesting to do this. In the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at the news, and just so much is happening all the time. So what is going on in the quantum world? So I'm just looking back at the last calendar week. So it's Sunday, June 29th. We're going back to the 22nd or later. And I've already gone in and I've highlighted these articles. So IBM and RIKEN unveiled their first quantum system 2 outside of the US. So IBM, who is the leader by revenue in quantum computing and quantum computing revenue generation. They have over $1 billion from quantum computing. IBM and RIKEN have launched the first quantum system 2 outside the US, co-located with Fugaku supercomputer in Japan to advance hybrid quantum classical computing. The availability of this system also marks a milestone as the first quantum computer to be co-located with RIKEN's supercomputer, one of the most powerful classical systems on Earth. At 156 qubits, with these quality and speed metrics, IBM Heron is the most performant quantum processor in the world. This latest Heron is capable of running quantum circuits that are beyond brute force simulations on classical computers, and its connection to Fugaku will enable RIKEN teams to use quantum-centric supercomputing approaches to push forward research on advanced algorithms such as fundamental chemistry problems. By combining Fugaku and IBM Quantum System 2, RIKEN aims to lead Japan into a new era of high-performance computing. Very nice. All right, so I saw this article, and we're seeing states start to get a lot more aggressive with their quantum adoption. And you'll see what I mean by the end of this video. But Texas has a statewide quantum initiative that is now written into law. I was very surprised with this because I don't necessarily think the first place I think of like a tech forward state would be like Silicon Valley in California. So good on Texas. Texas has enacted a new law to establish the Texas Quantum Initiative, aiming to position the state as a national leader in quantum computing, networking, and sensing technologies. I think this is really smart and really forward thinking. The law, which takes effect September 1st, 2025, creates a new advisory committee, strategic planning framework, and dedicated grant fund to drive quantum research and manufacturing within the state. Its goals include accelerating quantum's role in the state economy, identifying commercial opportunities, supporting workforce training, and promoting the development of Texas-based quantum supply chain according to the legislation. Texas joins a small but growing number of states advancing formal policy to compete in quantum. Backed by bipartisan sponsors from the chambers, the law signals a shift from passive interest to active participation in quantum innovation. And I think this is so critical. And this is kind of one of many states that is positioning themselves in the quantum space. So we saw Maryland wanted to be the capital of quantum. And we saw that Alabama was super excited to have a D-Wave quantum system. I've reported on that. Their senator and the mayor are excited about the potential for the D-Wave quantum system. And you're seeing states start to take control of this technology and really start to put legislation into place, which is a beautiful thing. Report: quantum tech could add $8.5 billion and 20,000 jobs to the South Carolina economy. A new economic report projects that quantum technologies could generate $8.5 billion in economic output and nearly 20,000 new jobs in South Carolina, with broader regional gains reaching $32.9 billion. The study was conducted by Dr. Von Nessen with SC Quantum and the University of South Carolina. The analysis estimates 5.7% average productivity boost for South Carolina's leading sectors, highlighting the state's strong alignment with emerging applications. The potential impact of quantum technologies in South Carolina marks a first of its kind economic analysis that links quantum adoption to productivity gains across the state's most influential industries, including advanced manufacturing and logistics. The findings come at a time of growing interest for quantum innovation in the region and the world. We also saw that G7 came out with their unified quantum plan, which I'll put the thumbnail if you want to see. I think that story should have got more attention. The G7, when they can agree on anything, it's amazing. And they agreed on quantum a week and a half ago. So go check that video out if you're interested in learning more. Quantum's applications, ranging from simulation and cryptography to logistics and machine learning, are particularly well suited to South Carolina's economic profile. The state's strong growth in advanced manufacturing and logistics, combined with demographic shifts and labor shortages, positions it to benefit disproportionately. So there you go, another state that's getting more aggressive about its quantum roadmap. We've been talking about quantum cybersecurity on the channel. quite a bit. In fact, this weekend, I did a spot on 3 quantum cybersecurity companies under $6. I'm going to put that on the screen. US lawmakers urge action on cybersecurity in the face of quantum threat. I feel like I've read some version of this headline like 24 times in 2025. US officials warned that current encryption systems could be broken by future quantum computers and urged swift modernization of federal cybersecurity infrastructure to protect national security. Witnesses told Congress that quantum computing progress is accelerating and adversaries may be collecting encrypted data to decrypt once the technology matures. U.S. officials warned Wednesday, June 25th, that the federal government must urgently modernize its cybersecurity infrastructure to prepare for quantum computing. The increased computing power has potential applications in many different fields. For example, quantum computers may be able to simulate critical chemistry processes for developing new fertilizers and medicines. However, the flip side of this potential is that quantum computers can threaten the security of information systems and the data they contain, including those controlled by the federal government. For instance, quantum computers could defeat widely used encryption methods that individuals, federal agencies, and critical infrastructure entities rely on. Chief Technology Officer at QRIPT, Dennis Mandich, says to the subcommittee that quantum progress is accelerating faster than expected, and adversaries may already be approaching critical thresholds needed to break encryption. The timeline is shrinking. The threshold is roughly 4,000 logical qubits, and leading programs are racing toward that mark already. Delay is not just risky, it's irrational. I've never heard it put that way, but I 100% agree. In fact, the fact that US legislation isn't already approved for accelerated investment in quantum is irrational. Let's just call a spade a spade. Progress in quantum computing is nonlinear and prone to sudden breakthroughs. And our adversaries have every incentive to conceal milestones until it's too late. But the real danger isn't only in the quantum threat, it's our complacency. This is probably the best quote I have ever read that captures this. I'm going to tweet this because it's that good. The federal government must not wait to tackle this enormous task. Already, we know foreign adversaries are implementing a steal now, decrypt later strategy with the hope that today's data will still be valuable when they have a quantum computer. We must act now. Mandich points out that many quantum firms operate under a veil of secrecy and their capabilities may be underestimated. Chinese quantum firms. That is really the main concern. That's the underlying concern, is that China is secretly developing more powerful quantum computers that can attack our data, unveil our secrets, and hack RSA encryption. IonQ and the University of Washington simulate process linked to the universe's antimatter-matter imbalance. Matter-antimatter imbalance. So this stuff is getting really into the weeds. So if you're a scientist or you know more about this stuff, leave a comment if you know more about and can teach other people in the comments. IonQ has announced the first known quantum simulation of neutrino-less double beta decay, a rare nuclear process with implications for understanding the matter-antimatter imbalance in the universe. The study demonstrates quantum computing's potential to model complex high-energy physics phenomena beyond classical capabilities, supporting the future investigations into fundamental symmetry-breaking processes. Using IonQ's Forte Enterprise quantum system, researchers observed in real time what's known as a lepton number violation, a phenomenon never directly simulated before on a quantum computer, providing further evidence that quantum computers may be able to model fundamental physics processes beyond the reach of classical systems. We have a quote here from the CEO. This achievement reinforces IonQ's commitment to pushing the boundaries of what quantum computing can accomplish, said Niccolo De Masi, CEO of IonQ. By simulating a fundamental physics process so rare it's never been observed in nature, we're showing that quantum computers are not just theoretical tools, they're engines of discovery. The findings not only validate the use of quantum modeling in nuclear and particle physics, but also set the stage for future research into other processes where lepton number violation may occur. And finally, our neighbors up north, Canada, has set a timeline to shield government systems from the quantum threat. US policymakers, take notes. Canada has launched a formal roadmap to migrate all federal non-classified IT systems to post-quantum cryptography by 2035 to defend against future quantum-enabled threats. The Canadian government has launched a formal plan to protect its federal IT infrastructure from the looming risks posed by quantum computers, setting strict milestones through 2035 for nationwide migration to post-quantum cryptography. Why isn't the US doing this? If you live in the US, which 60% of you who follow this channel do, you should be asking yourself that question. Your data, your brokerage account, your social media accounts, your government's accounts, all the businesses you do business with, are you okay with that data being breached? Do you think that the US should be doing more? I've personally reached out to at least 2 different senators and emailed them saying that, yes, we should do more. But besides in personally investing in quantum, we actually need to take matters into our own hands and somewhat be activists and at least try to stop the train that's coming. So we know that there's going to be strict milestones through 2035 for nationwide migration to post-quantum cryptography. So post-quantum cryptography companies, like we've been talking about, might be much more valuable because all these governments and businesses and enterprises are going to have to migrate over to post-quantum. To the channel and the audience, I want to again say sincere gratitude to everyone that's been following the channel up to this point, and a sincere welcome to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I mean that, and we'll see you in the next one.